Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy winning Wednesday. Welcome to Gratitude and Gains on the Who You Know show, where we're going to get our bodies moving. We're going to share our gratitude, set our goals, and build our momentum for the week. Super excited you're here with us. Let's go ahead and check in. When you come into the stream, go ahead and rep your city, rep your hood. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if this is your first time with us on Gratitude and Gains, I want you to put a 1 in the chat, okay? So if it's your first time, I want you to check in with me. Just put a 1 in the chat. I'd love to give you a shout out. If this is your second time, third time, maybe you're a repeat, I want you to put a 2 in the chat because I'd love to welcome you as well. And as you're coming in, I'm going to be sharing some of the things I'm grateful for and some of the goals that I have set for today. So one of the things that I wrote down this morning as I was going through my gratitude and goals was my gratefulness for the experience that I had yesterday at Frisco Connect. So Frisco Connect, for those that don't know, is a job networking group that meets at Stonebriar Community Church every first Thursday of the month. And I'm going to tell you that the energy there yesterday was a lot different than it normally is. Normally when you walk in there, people are very depressed, anxious, stressed, and that was there as well. I mean, that energy was similar, but what was different was there was an energy or a spirit of helping people overcome a negative mindset. Matter of fact, they had a speaker there that was all about mindset, which is something that I speak on all the time. I just did an episode on that last week, actually, about how to overcome a victim mindset, a negative mindset, all of that, because it's so important in your job search when you're going through that, or any kind of journey like that, where you're going through and it seems like things are maybe hopeless or just kind of crashing down around you. You have to keep your mind strong and be resilient. And I left there feeling amazing because there was, again, a spirit, an energy in the room that was lifting people up, right? You could feel the Holy Spirit in that church for sure. And I was also grateful for my name being mentioned at the event. And it was interesting because this event is like, again, the energy is typically so low that people never really clap on their own. Like it's kind of awkward almost. I have to start the clapping for people. I have to get it started, if you know what I'm talking about. Like I'm trying to raise the energy in the room, and like typically I'll have to get the clapping started when it's appropriate. Otherwise, they just won't, and it's very awkward sometimes. But yesterday, my name was mentioned, and the audience started clapping all on their own, which is kind of a sign that the impact and the encouragement that I was sharing and showing to this audience was being felt. So I know it's such a small thing. It sounds like, oh, okay, so they clapped for you. Okay, cool. To me, it was a big thing because, again, this group typically just doesn't. Anyway, so I thought it was kind of a big thing. And then there was also a woman that was at the group that came up to me and shared with me that the post that I did about Foster Williams and his light stroke. Foster had a stroke, and he's okay. He's doing well. He was actually sent home yesterday from the hospital, so we're grateful for that. Thankful for that. But But there was a woman who came up to me and she just was like, hey, I want to say I'm so thankful for you because of the post that you did. That post you did went viral and helped in raising nearly $30,000 for Foster in his GoFundMe account. And I just thought that was so cool that someone recognized that. I was humbled to see how God can use such a small act as doing a post, to create such a big impact. And so it was cool that it was recognized, I'm not trying to take any of the credit at all. I just did what I felt like I needed to do, and God did the rest. I have a way of sharing information. I have these groups on LinkedIn, lots of different groups, and I can share into these groups, and it can help get extra engagement to make the things go viral. And I don't always do it because it's kind of a little bit of a hack. There's these like engagement groups that I've set up over the years, and I don't always do it, but for Foster, I felt led. I do it when it's important, because if I do it all the time, it would get, if I did every single post, it would get, the algorithms would catch on and it would get stale, and the audience also would get kind of polarized by it. It wouldn't have the same impact if I did it every single day. Anyway, so every once in a while, when something's important to me, I'll drop it in these groups. And these groups know Foster, from the show. So I posted it in there, dropped it in these groups. The community stepped up. They shared his post all over the place. I think there was like 150 reshares or something like that, and thousands of engagements and comments and prayers. I mean, it was incredible to see how the community stood up. And not only did they speak up, they showed up with $30,000 for Foster. You know what I mean? So anyways, thought that was amazing. And it was just cool to be recognized for my contribution in that, so that was awesome. And I'm also grateful. I wrote down for last night's church service at the Pond at Gateway Church. Even though it was a little bit later, and I didn't really, honestly, towards the end of the day after getting off work and everything, I didn't really feel like going. It's in Dallas, which is like 30 to 45 minutes from me. Traffic, it's later. Anyway, I didn't get home until like, let's see, it was probably like 9:30, and that's past my bedtime because I get up here. No, I get up very early every morning, so it's a little past my bedtime. I didn't go to bed till like 10:30, and I get up at 4:30. So I was like, didn't really feel like going and all this kind of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, as soon as I got there, like all that went away. And another amazing service that was there. And one of the things the pastor was speaking on was false teachers of the word and false teachers of God. And it got me thinking about my own life and like reflecting on that. And, there are areas of my life that still need adjustments. I'm definitely not perfect. So guys, when you hear me up here sharing the word, by no means am I trying to be like a fake teacher or false teacher or anything like that. It just, like, I'm sharing the journey that I'm going through. Definitely not perfect. I am on a journey right now of getting rid of different things that have been in my life for many years. Quit smoking, quit drinking. And I'm just trying to become a better version of myself every single day. And so this show and me sharing the scriptures that I read and the different things that I'm doing and my takeaways. Again, this is me sharing my journey, documenting my journey. It's really for myself to hold myself accountable. If you, one of the things that the pastor said was to not necessarily get your information, right, from people in the world, like social media influencers and podcasters and all this stuff. Like, go to the church, go to the Word, go to the Bible to get your information, to become your source, right? So as I'm sharing, I'm just sharing what I'm going through, my takeaways, but I want you to go get your information from the source. So it's kind of like we always say in my industry, I'm in financial services, you'll hear us say, seek your own counsel, seek your own guidance. This is not meant, this is meant for informational purposes only. Yeah, that's it. Informational purposes only, right? Seek your own counsel. So that's kind of my disclaimer, because I don't want to be, again, I don't want to say something that comes off the wrong way, but I'm also not going to let that keep me from speaking, right? I might not know everything. I might not have all the answers. So please go to your church, go to your pastor. If you have questions, if you want to dive deeper into these things, don't take what I say as gospel, because I'm learning, I'm learning every single day. And that's what I'm sharing. I'm sharing what I'm learning. All right. So that was one of the things, again, last night brought things into perspective about false teachers, right? And so I'm not trying to be a false teacher at all, but it did shine a light on myself that was like, okay, well, maybe you should throw out a disclaimer out there for people that want to learn more, to dive deeper, that they can go to the people who have the answers and who are qualified that have those answers. And obviously go to the Word, right? Go to the Word, all right? So I'm going to share with you a few things that I read this morning, which was 1 Kings 3, which was Solomon's prayer for wisdom, which was actually part of my prayer this morning, which was for wisdom. So when Solomon became king, instead of asking God for wealth or a long life, right, or anything of this world, he asked God for wisdom to lead the people, to lead God's people well. And, my takeaway on that is that true leadership starts with humility and the desire to serve others wisely, right? So as I just was sharing with you a moment ago, I'm humble enough to tell you that I don't have all the answers, that I'm still on the journey, that I'm working on things, I'm working through things, I'm a work in progress. I don't got it all figured out, all right? But I do have a desire to serve, and I have a desire to do it wisely, right? To be a good steward of this this mouth that God gave me and this gift and this platform and being able to share with others. So I want to be a good steward of that. So, that's my takeaway, is that true leadership starts with humility and a desire to serve others wisely. And that's what I want to do. And so, again, my disclaimer is, this is for informational purposes only. Seek your own counsel, seek your own guidance. Okay? Please do that. And I encourage you to do that. It's important to, Also, my daily devotional called Jesus Calling. It's a pretty cool little book. It's got a little page every day. You read it. It's got some scripture in it. But today says, I love you with an everlasting love. Look beyond the flux of circumstances and discover me gazing lovingly back at you. And my takeaway there, as I was reading that, is that God's love is steady, right? It's steady, it's consistent. Even when our emotions and our circumstances aren't. Like, think about that. Like, our emotions typically dictate our actions, and the circumstances that go on around us definitely have an impact in our emotions. So mankind is definitely not very consistent with our love. Wish we were more consistent with our love. But God's love is steady. It's consistent. It's always there. So even when the world's crashing around you, even when things are going on, you're feeling like a roller coaster of different things, God's love is always there, and he's looking back at you. So lean on his consistency when leading or serving others, right? Lean on him for the strength to move forward in your life in a positive way. So yesterday, a couple of things I wanted to point out too, as I was at Frisco Connect. There were several people in the audience that needed a mindset shift, and that was actually what the entire speaker was there talking about mindset. And I remember there was a gentleman I bumped into, and he came in hot. I mean, he came in hot. He was so negative, victim mindset. Came in talking about how his last employer did him wrong, and he's suing them, and there's lawyers involved, and this and this and that. And I mean, it sounded like he had totally been victimized, right? But the way he was speaking, I told him, I said, look, love you, brother, but I hear you. Like, I totally hear you. Sounds like they did you dirty, man. They did you wrong, right? And you have every right to be upset, frustrated, angry even. But how you respond to that, what's your response? And it's like, right now, I got to tell you, the way you're speaking, your response right now, the energy you're projecting, it's pushing people away from you. It's not bringing people into your space. It's not attracting people. You're not a light right now. You're definitely pushing people away. It's like a cancer. And I was like, I'm not saying this to be rude, or I'm saying this because it's important that I tell you the truth. Right now, you're in the victim mindset because you've been victimized, right? But you need to get that out. If you need to go scream, yell, punch the ground, do whatever you need to do to get that out of your system, let's get it out of your system. But then you need to draw a line in the sand. No more stinking thinking. And it needs to be positive words from that point forward. And also accountability. Look at where could you have done things differently? You know, if you were teaching someone how to make it through this circumstance that you just went through, what would you tell them to do different? You know? And I just tried to shape his perspective on things because, again, he came in very, very hot. And I did it in a way, I'm telling you, that like I had to challenge him. And he was, I'm telling you, he was angry. He was so upset. And like that can be very intimidating almost. Especially this guy was a big guy. He was a big dude. And I'm like challenging this guy, like challenging his thinking. But I did it in a way, like the Spirit was there with me yesterday. I was speaking to him in a way that like was able to land the point without offending him at the same time. Like I didn't want to tell him or diminish, you know, the reality that he was victimized by his old employer and all these things that he was telling me. Like I wasn't trying to diminish, you know, what was happening, but I was trying to just bring some awareness of his response to what was happening, you know. And I was able to land the points. And as we were walking out, he was telling me, he's like, man, I'm so glad I came because, you know, it had been 7 years or something like that since he's seen me. And he's like, I'm here because of you. And you did that post about Foster. And it brought me back here. And I drove all the way from, gosh, I can't remember where it was, but he drove from a long way just to come see me. And I didn't even realize that. You know, I didn't even know that he's telling me this on the way out. He's like, man, I'm so glad I did. Like he was there to see me. And I was just speaking life. I mean, and anyway, so it was a very, very cool experience. And my takeaway there was how encouragement and gratitude can shift an entire room's atmosphere, you know? And there was someone else that was there that I walked in and came in contact with that I could see, like she was crying and really, really heavy. Like she said, I'm at my wit's end. Like I don't know if I can make it through. And she was vulnerable enough to share that with me because we have a relationship and she trusts me. And she was just like at her wit's end, and I could tell. And so I pulled her out of that room because there's people everywhere, right? She's starting to break down. I pulled her aside and pulled her out, and we sat down and we just talked and I listened, you know, and I basically gave her some recommendations to help elevate her mindset as well. You know, I asked her, I said, what are the things that bring you energy? What are the things that lift up your spirits, that bring you energy and joy? What are those things? Is it, because she had mentioned going for her walk. She's like, I never miss my walk, always do my walk. And I asked her why. She's like, well, it brings me energy. It's like a place where I can collect my thoughts. And I was like, cool, love that. What else? And she mentioned some music that lifts her spirits. I said, love it. Write that down. What else? You know, and she said when she's able to like serve other people or give to other people, I was like, cool. So like volunteering. What else? You know, and I said, I need you to write down as many activities as you can that fill your cup. Because right now your cup is empty and you're at your wit's end, okay, and you're stressed out. And like, we need to fill your cup. And the things that bring you joy and energy. So that was my first thing. I said, you need to write down as many of those things as you can. The second thing I told her was gratitude, right? Gratitude, when you're in extreme gratitude and grateful for the things in your life. So the issue for her was that she was looking at the things she didn't have. You know, money's going backwards. You know, she's like, I'm running out of money, and, you know, my severance is going to run out in a couple months. And once that runs out, you know, like, she's worried. She has every right to be worried. But, you know, I told her, I was like, that's not helping you. That focusing on that problem isn't going to help. Your focus becomes your reality. And so she's focused on what she doesn't have. And I said, we need to focus on what you do have, the positive things in your life, the things you're grateful for. Small things, big things, all things. Focus on the positive things that you are grateful for. So write that down. Start doing a gratitude journal. That's why I do this show. I'm sharing with you guys things I'm grateful for. And it helps me. It really does. It really, really does. Because I'm going to tell you, I have everything in me to be negative too, right? I have it. And I have to work on it. It's like a muscle. You got to work it out. And so I told her, I said, gratitude's the same thing. It's a muscle. You got to work it out. You got to practice gratitude every day. Otherwise, we naturally focus on the negative. We just do. It's the way our brains are wired. We focus on the negative. And so we have to literally intentionally focus on the positive and make that a daily habit and a daily practice. So that was the second thing I told her. Because when you're in extreme gratitude, you can't be grateful and negative at the same time. It doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. You can't do the two at the same time. All right? So I told her that was the second thing. And the third thing, we were talking about some of the strategies that she needs to implement in her job search. And like, we've been talking about a video resume and different things to help bring her some awareness and visibility in her job search. And she just basically said how scared she was of that, you know. And I asked her why. There was a fear there. There was a fear of being seen, of being judged, being seen, the opinions of other people, all of that. There was that being seen was her fear. And I basically told her the third thing that I want you to do is to attack your fear aggressively. You know, fear is the enemy. The enemy's lie to keep you stuck. The enemy wants to paralyze you, keep you stuck, keep you isolated. And he does not want you to succeed. He doesn't want you to get back to work. I told her you need to aggressively attack the enemy. Attack that fear. The only way to overcome fear is to just dive in it head first. Do it scared. Be courageous. And so if that's the thing that you're afraid of, then you need to go for it and be aggressive about it. Like, I remember when I first started the Who You Know show years ago, I was terrified. I had a huge fear of public speaking because it was the same. It was the fear of other people's opinions about me, you know? And so I had to overcome that. but I had to do it aggressively. I couldn't just dip my toes in the water, a little dibble dabble. No, I had to just go for it. And I did a weekly live show every single week, and it was live just like this. Started it, and no excuses, just go. And so that helped me get some reps to overcome the fear. And now I'm not scared. I'm not afraid of it. It actually energizes me. It brings me energy. It's one of those activities that I get to put on my list of things that bring me energy and lift me up. Right? So I told her it'll bring you confidence. When you overcome one of your biggest fears, you're going to have a high level of confidence. Super high level of confidence. So those were the three kind of recommendations that I had for her. Number one was to list all the things that bring you energy. The things that bring you energy, the things that fill your cup. Small or big, can be music, can be serving, whatever the heck it is. What are the things that bring you energy? Number two, gratitude, right? Practice gratitude every single day. And number three was face your fears. Attack it like your life depends on it, and overcome. And what that's going to do is going to boost your confidence, right? And when you boost your confidence, you're going to boost your energy level, okay? And you're going to feel unstoppable. Think about that. If you overcome your biggest fear, you're going to feel unstoppable. If that can't hold you back, nothing else can. So do it. Even if it's just to show yourself that you can, right? That'll boost your confidence. And so I'm really, really hoping and praying that she takes me up on those three. I'm telling you, they helped me in my life. I know they will help her too. But you know what I also know is that I can teach you these things, but if you're not ready up here, to make change, it's just going to go in one ear and out the other. I mean, like she's going to hear those words, feel those words, but it's going to, if your mindset isn't ready for change. And so that's my prayer today, is that I really hope that her mind and her heart is ready for change, that she is at her wit's end and she's at a point where she'll try anything, right? Because if that's the case, then hopefully my words landed with her yesterday and she's up this morning doing the things, taking those 3 steps, writing down her gratitude and listening to the music that fills her or whatever the case may be, and attacking her fears. I hope that's what she's doing right now. Anyway, that was just a couple of my reflections over the past day. I mean, it's been amazing. How cool. One day, yesterday, Tuesday, October 7th, it was just a great day. It was a great day. I was able to speak life into people, and I'm really hoping that she takes a hold of some of that. My light's flickering over here. Looks like it's about to die. And it got me thinking that, yep, there went my light. Got to charge this thing up, y'all. It got me thinking about setting something up. I need to talk to the leadership team over at Frisco Connect. I want to do more of that because I know there's a lot of people that need it over there. And so I've done a lot of stuff at that group. I've been volunteering there for many years, about I want to say 8 years now. And we've done free professional headshots over there for the job seekers, and we've done lots of stuff over the years. But I'm thinking I want to do something a little bit different. Like set up a table where I can have people just come to me and ask me anything, come if they have a question or need a strategy or they're stuck, they can just come walk over to me, to my table. And I'd like to even potentially, just depending on leadership and how they feel about it, but I'd like to even bring a videographer with me to capture these transformational moments, because people can learn from that when they see it. Not only can other people learn from it, but it's going to reinforce it to that job seeker when they see it later. It's a transformational moment when I'm able to see the light bulbs come on in somebody. That person that I'm speaking of that was so down and at her wit's end, I saw a light come back into her. I mean, light bulbs were clicking for sure, which was amazing. It was one of those kind of transformational moments. And so I'd love to be able to capture those. I'm all about capturing and documenting and sharing those types of things to highlight the story of these job seekers who really are, these folks are facing a battle. They're going through it. And I look at them as courageous. I do. I see courageous people who are pushing through. They're facing, the world, and they definitely transform through the process. They're different people on the other end of it. And so I'd love to be able to capture that. And so I'm going to be reaching out to the leadership team over there at Frisco Connect, and hopefully I can put something together, something high energy where I can, have people come, bring their issues, bring their concerns, their worries, and basically get, live coaching and strategy right there on the spot. That's the whole goal, is to make a difference. One person at a time. That's all I care about. Yesterday, there was really just 2 people there that I got to pour into, and I was cool with that. I don't need thousands of people. I just need those 2. And I wanted to just pour in. And I did that. And that's what I'm hoping to do moving forward, is set up a table. I'm not going to have the time to get to everybody. Obviously, there's like 100 people in the room. I'm not going to have the time for that, But if I can reach 1 or 2 people that day, then it'll be it'll be a good use of my time. Let's put it that way. But I don't want to continue go if I can't reach people. So I'm going to set something up where I can make a bigger impact in that room. All right. So just a couple goals for today I want to share with you guys before we wrap things up here. Again, I just mentioned planning a dedicated table to speak life into the attendees over there at Frisco Connect and offer my guidance. The way I can help, facilitate some transformation. Hopefully I can do that and get that put together. So that's one of my goals. Continuing with connecting with healthy, faith-filled community and meeting people at church groups and building relationships. That's something that's definitely a goal of mine, to continue that. I need to surround myself with other people who are, doing good things. So that's another goal of mine. Staying focused on my Series 65. I have made a shift on my study time, which is working. So I'm excited about that. I should take that test in 3 weeks. So guys, be praying for me on that. I want to pass it and knock it out the first go around. So Series 65, and then, to continue to keep leaning into God's love as the source of strength for my leadership and my service. That's another one of my goals, is to look at the Word and how God does things and how Jesus did things, and to try to be more like Him every day, which like I'm on a journey. I got a long way to go. Okay. I want you to know that right now. I got a long way to go, but I'm taking this the next step and the next step and the next step. So I encourage you guys to do the same. All right. A couple of questions I have for you. When's the time someone's word shifted your mindset for the better? I want you to think about that. When is the time that someone was able to, shift your mindset, right? Maybe you were in a victim mindset and someone challenged you and said, hey, no stinking thinking, right? When's the time? Share it with me. I'd love to hear about it. And where can you use your words today to bring light into someone else's life? Who needs a little encouragement today? Who's somebody that you know that's in your sphere of influence that you can reach out to and speak a little bit of life into their life today? Okay? I'd love you to reflect on that and then go do it. All right, guys. Hopefully this episode has been encouraging, uplifting in any kind of way. Hopefully it's been encouraging. I'd love for you to share this out. Just hit that share button. You never know what this can do for someone else. And don't forget to subscribe to the regular Who You Know Show podcast. That's my normal show is in a professional studio where I get to interview some of today's biggest thought leaders, CEOs, experts, celebrities, athletes, coaches. I mean, people that are doing big things, and I'm looking for their blueprint to success. The things that have made them successful in their wealth, health, business, career, their relationships. I'm looking for the cheat code, basically. How do we get there faster, quicker, right? Because success leaves clues. And if you can follow those breadcrumbs, man, you can get there quicker, And so that's what I'm trying to help you do. And I'm doing it for myself too, y'all. Everything that I'm doing, when I interview somebody, I'm also looking at it as how can I apply what they're teaching. When I interview a thought leader, an expert, I'm like, how can I apply what they're teaching me? I use it almost like a free coaching session for myself a lot of times, because I'm talking to people that are doing way bigger things than I am, right? They're successful in an area of their life that is way more successful than I am. And I'm leaning on these people. I'm like, man, let me use it as a free coaching session for myself, So hopefully you guys are doing the same. Hopefully you're taking notes in these sessions and really getting some takeaways that you're applying and making a transformation in your life. I mean, that's really what this podcast is all about, is self-development, in your wealth, health, business, your career, your relationships, ultimately your life. So guys, tune into that podcast. We got really cool things coming your way. Want to give some shout outs. All right. We got over there on Instagram, we got Mortgage by Mike. All right. Good to see you. Good morning. We got Real Brian Hess in the house. Good morning, Brian. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. We got Dina in the house. We got Aviation Guy, USA. Good morning. Good morning. We got Midge Merzerberger. Saying your name all kinds of wrong. That's what I love about Instagram, y'all. Instagram comments, man. Y'all's handles are crazy. Your username's Midge Merzerberger. Love you, brother. Thanks for showing up. We got let's see, Melanie Hulsey. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. See who we got over here on some of the other channels. Good morning. Good morning. All right, guys. Well, thanks again for tuning in on another episode of Gratitude and Gains. Appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have another amazing day. It's Winning Wednesday. Go out there and crush it today, because you can, all right? All right. That's the show. It's all about who you